to add a application page. And application page is nothing but what shows up in your what ends up in your layout folder. So when you add a application page, it automatically adds a managed folder. Now if you want to add any of these managed folder by yourself, you can just go add it yourself. Say add map folder, and you can select one of those things. Now everything under SharePoint root is a map folder in there. So this is if you look at the page itself, it inherits from layouts page base is a special base class which has some informations like the current site, current web, and things like that readily accessible to you. And it's if I look open the ASPX itself, placeholder main is again the place where I put in my content. Same thing. Deploy succeeded. Let's go look at the page slash. So let's look at adding a new delegate control in this project. So here's a delegate control. Now if you wonder if you're not seeing this as part of your list of templates available installed in your system, let's quickly show you. If you install one of these CSK development tools in your system, you will get those templates in there. So I've installed the CSK development tools for server. So I have the server edition. If you're just using a foundation, that's fine. You can use a foundation edition. Once you install this extension, you will find all these new templates in there. So let's go ahead. Now it kicks off a wizard. One is to specify the ID of the control. So the ID is basically the delegate control that is already placed in there, which is going to receive your control into the application. Now let's look at one of the out of the box control, delegate control that's in place. So if I go to master page, so here you have a control that's part of the default V4 master page, and its control ID is additional page head. Now we need to use this thing so that we can tie up whatever you are going to develop in here to this particular thing. So put that in here. Now specify the sequence. The sequence can be anything. The sequence number is used basically to specify if this delegate control is capable of taking multiple controls. The sequence, the way it loads each of the control is determined by the sequence that is specified. In this case, I know that there may be controls that are already added in there by SharePoint out of the box. so anything over 100 it may not be there, so I'm just putting 101 so that my control is loaded last. Third thing is, you can see here that there's it's asking for a strong name of the assembly and the fully qualified name of the class or a URL. So now if you correlate this with what we've already done uh, in our page, either you can specify a control or you can specify a user control, or you can specify a web control. If you are specifying a user control, you just need this URL, and if you are specifying a web control, you need the namespace and the assembly. In this example now, if you are looking at this thing in here, you want to specify a strong name for the assembly and a fully qualified or thing. So these two are related. If you specify this, you have to specify both of these values, or you can specify only this URL. In our case, I think we'll go by a web control. So I just need another, it will be the same 4-part assembly name. I still don't know my name of fully qualified name of my class, so I need to replace that. So let's move forward. I don't have anything in here. Let's not put any properties. Finished off. Now what I see in here, it's just created this delegate control. It just created an elements file. Now if you didn't install the extensions, so what you can do is you can add empty element like this. That's part of Visual Studio, and then you can specify the elements in there directly. But this using the extensions, um, it becomes a little bit easier to generate these type of XMLs in there. So now we need to remember that we need to replace the actual class in here. Rest of the things is fine. So let's go ahead to create a new class. Just going to copy a couple of lines. Basically, I'm just creating a JavaScript statement in here and registering that, and this is my thing in here. Now to get my fully qualified class name, I need the namespace and my class name. Now we're going to rebuild. What should this do is basically on load of this particular web control. It will just fire off this alert. Next thing we need to do is basically again check the features one, if it's included in a feature. So let's do that. Okay. Now I going to deploy rebuild and deploy. So basically when I deploy this, it's going to find this additional page head in delegate control wherever, and it's going to register my control with this class name of this particular assembly into that. So it's going to get attached to um, this additional page head delegate control. Since it allows multiple controls into it, I'm sure that it's not going to kick out any other control that's already in place, and it's going to be executed in the sequence that I mentioned there. So let's see if it works. There you go. So our script has fired off. So it's fired off pretty early since you don't see any of the other page content rendered. So it may be a good place to put in your jQuery plugin or any other user control registration. Uh, Basically, you can use this technique to put in. Uh, if I look at now, this is a web control, so I can put in my script in here. But if you use a ASCX user control, you can register a jQuery or a CSS into the system pretty early in the page load. So you're sure that it will be available whenever it's going to be used later in the page rendering. So there's a few methods of putting in content into SharePoint, and hopefully you gain something from this, and you can move forward with that. Thanks for watching this video.